In this video, I'm going to be breaking down 3 different email and text flows that I've used for my realtor clients to double their response and show rates. These are going to be relevant whether you're running ads, cold calling, or even just getting referrals. So let's get straight into it. So the 3 flows I'm going to be going over today are going to be relevant for different parts within the sales process, depending on where your lead fits in that context of the sales process. So the first one we're going to be going over is the welcome and delivery flow. We're then going to go over the pre-appointment flow and then finally the follow-up flow. So basically all the welcome and delivery flow is a series of messages sent after they've opted into something that's a low barrier step. For example, lead magnets, videos they've watched, video guides, anything that you have that's any sort of lead magnet is where the welcome or delivery flow is going to be placed. And it's designed to deliver the lead magnets and then afterwards take advantage of the mere exposure effect, which is basically the window immediately after a prospect opts in on your landing page, where they are going to remember who you are and are most likely going to engage with you. So immediately within the delivery flow, you're going to send them an email and an SMS simultaneously delivering the lead magnet. So whether, let's say you have a PDF or you use like a hosting service like Google Docs or Gamma, you can send them that link directly into there. And then after that, about 2 hours post lead magnet delivery, you can send them a follow-up email on what you actually do. Then 2 hours after that, on hour 4, you can then send them a follow-up email going over why you do what you do. And then finally, on hour 8, or 2 hours after the why you do it email, you then can send them a how you do it one as well. And this is basically, again, it's going to keep you top of mind, and it's always going to lead to another step deeper down the pipeline, building more and more trust. And just some additional insights, when sending messages as far as texts go, send them through iMessage manually instead of doing them the automated way, which usually ends up sending green messages. I know there's ways around getting blue, but if you can send them automated, it's just going to improve your response rate significantly, usually about 30 to 50% more responses from it. And another thing you can do is send a custom video, 15 to 60 seconds long, nothing really longer than 60 seconds, once the prospect opts in. And this is a good way to build trust extremely fast. And when recording the videos, make sure that if you can customize them, that's going to be ideal. If you can talk about their name, you can show a specific problem within their specific funnel and current process. If you can showcase that within that 60-second window, trust is going to go through the roof. And the last thing you want to do is just have a reason to reach out. Seems pretty obvious, but sometimes people get misconstrued as far as what that means. So whether you can talk about market changes, basically just, any sort of lead magnet, an update regarding something like market changes is going to make messaging a lot less salesy. And so at the end of all this, the goal of the welcome and delivery flow is to have a call to action at the end of it that pushes them to book an appointment directly into your calendar. And once that happens, then the pre-appointment flow gets triggered and gets put into place. And this is going to change the process and the position of the sales process that the lead is in. So they've gone from the top of the funnel now down to the middle. And the goal here on the pre-appointment flow is basically whether it's, prior to any appointment that you have with them, a buyer's consultation, listing presentation, is to handle their objections and FAQs at scale before you actually even have a chance to speak with them. And this is going to increase the show rate and the conversion rate. So right after an appointment is booked, whether, they came directly from an ad or you pushed it from the welcome and delivery flow, what your goal is to solve about 5 to 10 common FAQs and objections. And you can get these from current clients that you have, past referrals, whatever it is, whatever your most 10 common FAQs and objections are, write them down and send about 2 to 4 of them per day, 1 FAQ and objection per email. And within the emails handling all of these objections and FAQs, what you can do and what you want to do is have case studies and proof embedded in them as well. Make sure you're referencing the actual appointment itself, reminder your appointment's on X day at X time. And also always reference where they know you from. So, explain your business, what you do, or just, have your YouTube linked in there or whatever it is that establishes you, that can remind them of who you are. Make sure that's relevant and placed somewhere that's seeable in the email itself. And then the final flow we're going to be going over is the follow-up flow. So The goal here is basically just to keep the prospect engaged without hard selling. The key here is to show and not tell. Showing gets prospects to buy, telling them builds sales resistance and pushes them away. So with follow-up emails, just send simultaneous emails. You can send automated texts here, but again, manual is better, especially iMessage and phone calls. And your goal is to always reference the appointment you talked about, all the things you broke down within your service. Make sure it's short and punchy. You don't want to go on elaborate schemes, and this is just going to make you come across as over-pitching, overselling, and this is distasteful in everybody's mouth. Just always provide case studies and proof. And the key is content and sales assets. If you have a YouTube channel that you're posting organically on, this is huge. If you have lead magnets, solving FAQs, whatever you can do to build congruence with your ecosystem, push that. Videos are really good because they're highly engaging and they provide a lot of information within the shortest amount of time. So that's my number one go-to when it comes to content and sales assets with that. But in total, that's basically the 3 major flows that you should be using to double your response rates for specifically realtors and getting buyers and sellers to get more closed deals, to build your conversions, build up your system to eventually build a brokerage, maybe even sell it, spend more time with your family, whatever it is. So that's the full setup that I use for my clients. I hope this video is valuable, and I'll see you in the next one.